Well, sports fans, I just got some really bad news. Not sure if this trip's gonna last. I just woke up a few minutes ago, 6 a.m. Not bad. Perfect timing, really. It's kind of chilly. Thermometer says it is about 50 degrees, which is great because that's half of what it was yesterday. The bad news, though, is over in my sleeping setup. Right there. That key piece of equipment, my Renogy 72,000 milliamp hour battery, because it powers my CPAP machine. Well, usually I get 3 nights of sleeping with that CPAP, with that battery. It cocked out. It gave up at 6 a.m. this morning, which means I got 1 night out of it. So I have to charge that thing. And the plan was to use my 40 watt solar panel to boost it every day to keep it going for the 5 or 6 nights or whatever I need it for. Well, now that it's at 0, basically, I'm going to have to charge it completely with the solar power. And I just don't know if I'm going to get enough power to do that. Evidently, I'm still tired. So we'll see how it goes. If I cannot get that thing fully charged to get me another couple nights sleep out of it, if I can only get it charged enough for 1 night, I don't know if I want to risk running it repeatedly with charge, delete, charge, delete, charge, delete with solar power and risk not getting a full night's sleep out of it. So if I can't get it fully charged today, I might be heading home tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. I gotta pack up this mess that I made last night and get some breakfast in me. And the sun should be up here in a few moments, and I'll start the charging process and see how that goes.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I took off the jacket I had on. Probably gonna get ready to take off some more because it's getting warm fast. But started charging my battery since the sun's up. You can see it's indicating one little blue light flashing. It's indicating it's taking a charge. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm about to make breakfast, just some oatmeal. And I trust that the water spigot located down there by the car through the trees is potable, but just in case it's not, and because I have to rely on river water later, I do have my Sawyer mini water filter hooked up to just a leftover water bottle that had flavored water in it that I finished up yesterday. But I'm using this because it fits on my filter. The problem I've encountered is squeezing it to filter the water. Not that fast, not a problem. The problem comes when you've squeezed a bunch. It's a one-way valve basically. And so to get another squeeze out of the bottle, I have to loosen up the filter to get air into it again, tighten it back up, and repeat. So this process is slower than it probably should be. I know that some people use gravity systems where air gets into this, or it uses a bladder so that it doesn't have to have air go back into it. I brought a platypus bladder, an old one that unfortunately didn't fit this valve or this filter, so I have to rely on just a water bottle here. So that's what I'm doing. My water's just about to boil, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to eat my oatmeal this morning. Pulled back the flap so I don't have extra trash. Well, loose trash. I have the same amount of trash. But I opened my oatmeal packet. Turn my stove off here. And rather than pouring the oatmeal into the pot, I'm going to pour the water into the oatmeal packet. Now these are lined with a little bit of waxy material so that they will hold the water long enough for you to eat. Now it's kind of hot, but it's okay. In a cold morning, it's nice to have something warm in your hands anyway, right? Stir that up. Make sure you get in the corners. Get all the way down in there. Now I usually like my oatmeal a little thick, but that's just still kind of pasty. So I'll add a little bit more water. And it's important not to go with any sort of measurements, because if you do that, you might end up with soupy oatmeal and you don't like soupy oatmeal, or you might end up with thick oatmeal that you don't like. So if you just add the water and stir, add water and stir until you get what you like, you'll be happier. And I don't want it too thin because I want to stick to the spoon. So I'm going to get a nice hearty amount there. And I'll repeat that with the second packet of oatmeal when I'm ready to. Leave this closed up so I can keep the water a little warm. Couldn't decide if I wanted tea or cocoa this morning. I opted obviously for cocoa, so you see the open ones there. And so the water that I boiled, I planned ahead to have enough for my beverage this morning. So now again, I am going to have to rinse out my pot, but I figured since this is more of a base camp situation almost, this would be a good morning to do the messier cocoa than the tea. Not a big deal, but that's what I opted for this morning. So I'm going to sit and enjoy my second pack of oatmeal and the sunrise, which is coming up over the edge of this mountain here into my campsite. Of course, I've got my solar panel working down there, seeing how much I get my charge on my battery this morning before I head out.